Hey guys, it's Ameriie and I am here with how I curl my hair. This is my signature look and I basically just wanted to take you through the method in which I use to put in these waves. And for your reference, this is day 2 of my hair being styled. Yesterday morning I washed, blow dried, styled my hair, and then I just went to sleep with a very loose top knot, and that's usually what I do when I go to sleep, just a very loose top knot so it's not everywhere brushing against the pillow. That way you save your strands, but it doesn't get flat. So my hair is pretty straight with a slight wave at the ends left over from yesterday. So I'm going to start by separating the crown. It doesn't have to be perfect lines. Actually, it's probably better if it's not perfect because when the hair falls, you won't have the hair falling in the same pattern. And then I do a little twisty thing here so it stays. But I don't want it to be too tight because I don't want to create crimps and such at the top. Now I'm going to divide my hair just in 2 sides. So we've got 1, 2, 3. I like to keep one of these clips because when I start to separate, great to hold the hair at the top. First thing that I always do is I go right here by the nape of your neck. It's almost like this little section that's pretty easy to grab because it's not as high as that. It's its own little section. And that's the first thing that I do. Brush through with the paddle brush. Now this section in particular, as well as the corresponding section on the other side, I curl differently depending on when I'm curling my hair. For instance, I did my hair yesterday. That time I will curl it like this. Leave a little bit of the end, tap it out. I only curl this section like this, and it's really just to smooth and seal. But because this is actually day 2, it's already pretty sealed from yesterday. So let's just go back, pretend I didn't just do that. By the way, I'm using Hot Tools Professional. I usually put it anywhere between 400 to just 430. I don't let my hair sit in there too long. Whenever I'm using Living Proof's frizz products, it's very much a moisture out, moisture in. When you use it and you blow dry your hair, whatever moisture is out, whatever moisture is in, is in. That means it can be a little harder to hold a curl because it is blocking any kind of humidity. And a little bit of humidity helps keep your curl. So when that's the case, I use it to 430 and I hold it in there a little bit longer. But if not, I use a lower setting and I don't keep it in there quite as long. Alrighty, so we're going in. I'm just wrapping it around the barrel and I'm leaving about 1 inch out. Sometimes I'll leave a little less than 1 inch. Sometimes if I want extra smoothness, I will turn it, but very gently. The thing about the curling iron is people feel like, oh, it's very damaging. It depends on how you use the tool. I think I might want a little bit more of a wave. I think I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Whenever you do your hair, the curls will come out differently depending on things from placement of the curling iron, direction, to the angle in which you're holding the iron. What is going on up there? I think my bun is a little too loose. Oh no, that's good, okay. Down here you can kind of curl it however you like, but it becomes a lot more important when you're at the crown. For instance, when you're at the crown and you're curling your hair, the tension is this way. That's a different kind of curl than if you're holding it this way. It's different if you have more resistance here than if you have it on the bottom. This kind of thing, or you have more pull that way. The way that you hold the curling iron will make a difference when it comes to your curl, especially when it comes to the crown, but we'll get to that. I don't like to do like too many sections. I feel like you can actually get away with not doing as much. I am bringing this in, and then I am just wrapping it around. I try to go close to the scalp, and I try to make sure I get a bump. I try to make sure that I'm curling and putting the hair in as it's lifted. There we go. So I've got this wave there. Sometimes people curl like this. You see how it's down already? Already we have no lift. We need a lift. We need body. I love big hair too. I don't always wear it quite as big filming videos, but if I'm like going out or something, I like to really make it big. I used to say there's no such thing as hair that's too big, but then I think I started going a little crazy. My husband was like, your head looks huge, like your hair is too big. And I just like love that look, but admittedly, it might have been a little out of control. Okay, so I'm combing it up. These roots are lifted. Now when I put this hair in, where the hair is connected to the curling iron, where it's first going in, it's lifted, it's not flat. If you do your hair and it's already flat when you're curling it, there's like no hope for it to get any lift when you're finished. Also, what you can do is hairspray as you go. This is a good time here to go ahead and spray this. I like to use Davines' hairspray. Their last version smelled so wonderful and amazing. Like that was my favorite, but they've since changed their formulation. Still fantastic, but it doesn't have the same smell that I love. You want to be careful when you're hairspraying. Go ahead and hairspray up. Sometimes you can even hold it and give it a little lift as you spray. But you want to be careful because when your hair is color treated, when you add in hairspray, next time when you go in to comb it or you run your fingers through, it just makes that delicate hair a lot more susceptible to breakage. I'm using the mirror, but honestly, I feel like I should look at the camera. Here's 2 ways that you can do the side of your head. If you have naturally curly hair, you have to really be picky about how you do this. You can go down this way. You're going under and up. This is good because it's framing your face properly. It's not so good because this doesn't get lift, and now it's going to be less of a full foundation for the hair that goes over it. If your hair is relaxed, or if it's naturally curly, sometimes going down in this direction is still better just because it can give you good framing. If you can go this way, that's great because if it gives you the lift. This is something that only you'll know once you do your hair. For me, it depends. If it's day 1, because my hair is naturally curly, if it's day 1, I go ahead and do the over. So that means that this is the curling iron. I'm going over with the first curl and then doing this. If it's day 2 and on, like now, I want to make sure that hair is falling correctly. I go under. So that's what we're going to do for this. And then I'm going to go under. Now I'm going to bring down this clip, this hair here. Keep the hair framing the face here. Comb up at the root. Keep that root going upward. Always try to get the root going straight away from your scalp. That way you get the most lift. Sometimes I can see better in the screen and sometimes I can see better in the mirror. The mirror is quite far though. Okay, so again, I'm going to do this one this way. I really can't do it the other way. Sometimes you can do it this way because the crown's going to sit over it anyhow, but I don't like it when the hair sits away sometimes. I don't like it when it goes so far away from it. It reminds me of like Dynasty, that old TV show from the 80s. So I'm going to go down here because I'm basically going toward the face and then leaving sometimes an inch, sometimes a little less. I usually like to start with an inch so that way I can do this. Make sure you do that tap, tap, tap with this. These edges here, sometimes when someone clamps their hair, for an example, this is a no-no. If you're doing this and then that thing is bending it so the hair is going in, down, up over the iron, down, that's bad. This. You hear that noise? Bad. That's bad. You want to get it in. If you're going to move the hair with the clamp, bring this clamp down. That way your hair is straight. The clamp is in no way like sitting on the hair. It's not doing this, it's doing that. So you're going with the hair. And then you go here, get to the middle, flip that hair over, tap, 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 roll it in, roll it in. So now that we've got this, I like to go a little to the side and spray. Very lightly, not too much. Again, if my hair was not color treated, I'd do more, but because it is, I really don't want anything sticking too much, so when I run my hands through it, it's like pulling and breaking the ends. But if you're also using the Redken cat treatment, that helps a lot too, but still, it's not going to be the same as if it were not color treated. And then to make sure that you get the back, like the back ends here, just boom, boom, that's enough. Squish it up so it maintains, and onto the other side. Basically, the same thing on this side. Ow. Oh, I burnt myself. You know what it is? I'm not used to not being so close to a mirror. I can usually see myself. That's gonna leave a mark, I just know it. So now we're at the crown. I usually like to leave this much out. This is the very important part. More than anything else, the hair that surrounds your face and your crown is like the big make it or break it. So what I like to do first, I like to gather what I call my bump. This is going to be the hair that creates that lift back there. Going in, focusing on that part, that lift, straight above the head. These I like to hairspray as I go. So I like to make sure that I hairspray the roots and I let that sit like that, and I will hairspray that in. Continuing to grab the crown bits and really combing the hair so that it's up away from the root. So the root is straight up. And we're curling all of this, and this is important, but the most important part is really getting this set. pull this out. I kind of try to keep it that shape there. That way I can maintain and hairspray also from all sides. Okay, now that we're getting in a little closer, a sliver of the edge, but not too much. Getting that lift here is also really important because this is going to support the hair at the crown. And because it's so important with that lift, I'll go ahead and just... What I used to do after I finished curling my hair, I would stick my head in the freezer, and that would set the curls really quickly. Sometimes I'll still do that. Take a note of where the actual top flap is, how it's not causing any kind of bends anywhere on the hair. Hold that. And it's kind of up already because of the way we curled it. Hairspray that in. Now this part here is a bit different. So for the crown we did 2 going that way, then we did a little sliver going this way, another sliver going this way, and now, it's tickling me, now we're going to let things fall where they may. Sometimes you might like a really clean line. A lot of times I like it either in the center or kind of more this way, so there's a little bit more hair going on that side. I like to divide this into 2 sections. The first one is this, but I don't like to make the part here. You know, see how I'm going like that? I like to make the part diagonal. So instead of going just like this, I do diagonal. The reason why I do it diagonally is because that way when you have your hair, it's kind of hard to see through the, okay. This hair is bumped up, but the hair at the top is smooth and covers any kind of part that you have there. Instead of going like this, I make the part like that. So it's coming across from the back a little bit. So this one, I really try to give it a lot of lift, as much lift as possible in here. Get a little spray. Okay, so before I do this front though, I usually tend to like to do the fronts at the same time. So I just move on over to the other side. You know when you're doing your hair and it makes you kind of hot? We've got bump action. A little. Now we're going to deal with the front. So there are different ways to do the front. I'm kind of contemplating showing you the different ways. The only thing is that after you do the first curl, the second curl may not hold as much because you have less moisture in there because it came out with the first one. So I'll show you 2. I'll show you the way that Angela does it, which is really great. And I really like the way it looks on her. Forward and pulling it forward. So the pull of this is all going forward. And then we're going to go here and then bring it back. So when I was doing it, I was pulling it that way. This is not the way I usually do it, but it can give a nice smooth little thingy. That's not a great word for it. It gives a nice smooth wave. Now this would be a good option, especially if it's very humid outside, because you're going to seal in every single strand, and at least you know if things get frizzy a bit over here, the parts by your face and where it's like framing your face is going to be very, very smooth and less frizzy. This side I will show you the other way. This is better when you're not really having to worry too much about frizz. Similar as far as going to the front here. Only we aren't going to pull it through. We're going to do the similar wrap, but the wrap is just going to come forward. So it's similar to how we did everything else, but the wrap is coming forward, and then you're leaving that little inch or ½ inch. Sometimes I leave a little more to give myself room to do this, which is giving you extra seal when you're sliding it through. Really sealing it. That's what some people who have naturally curly hair don't understand about, like when they go get their hair blown out. A lot of people who have really straight hair, they don't understand that at the hairdressers. So they will think that just because they blow dried your hair, you're done. I know a woman who would like to wear her hair straight, but she never does because she's like, oh no, it's like thick and it's like I'm Jewish, so it's like that curl is really strong. And I'm like, my hair is curly too. Like there's no reason why you can't wear your hair straight if you want to. She's like, yeah, I want to get it blown out. It's like, it just doesn't come out right. I'm like, are they sealing your hair after they finish it? Because sometimes you can get a blowout. It's great, it works. But it has to be blown out in a very particular way, and you might not have as much shine as if they seal it, like they just run the curling iron through it really quickly. Now sometimes you lose a little bit of body that way, but it depends on your hair and it depends on the weather. curling iron through is a good way to seal. If your hair is naturally curly and if your hair is especially prone to frizziness, don't ever just do a blowout without sealing it. Sometimes you can get away with it, but you'll have to put so much heat on your hair. At that time, you might as well have just gone through sealing it. And when I say seal it, I mean basically running a curling iron through it. Even a larger barrel than this is better than nothing because that way it'll seal your hair. I see this a lot when I'm watching television and I can tell someone has curly hair and I can tell the person on set did not know how to do her hair. So sealing is an important step. And by the way, this is a 1 1/4 inch, which to me is like the best. It's like that perfect sweet spot. An inch can be good. If you want your hair to be really big and wavy, that can be really good because you can actually get a lot of mass and just hairspray it and just, I really love hot tools. I used to use ceramics as well, but I just find that I get better results with this. Over the years, it's the one that always works. So I don't know if you can tell the difference between this side and this side. I like them both equally, it just depends. I think I'll just do this one to match this side and also so I can get it a little bit off my face. We will recurl this, but I don't know how it's going to come out honestly because this is the This is the second curl. Note to self, when you are actually doing your hair though, make sure you're in front of a mirror when you're using hot. Whew, I'm all scared now. Usually when I finish my hair, I will let it just sit this way for a while and get dressed and do what I'm doing. Okay, that kind of went okay. And I'll just do what I'm doing. Okay, we need to get this curling iron away from me because it is hot and dangerous. So this is where we are right now. Oh, I need to hairspray the front. Very sparing. So we've got a little body here. Normally I would just let that sit for a while. So let's just say this cooled down, got dressed. Then I'm going to separate. I'm pretty careful with how I separate it. I don't like to just go through and comb it. What I like to do is just kind of give it a little zhuzh here in the temple, okay? Because this will separate on its own. I'm gonna flip my hair and I'm going to kind of go here, loosen it up, flip it back, bring that in. Sometimes what I like to do, it's tricky because I would be closer to a mirror so I could see exactly how much I'm grabbing. I don't want to grab everything because I don't want to create frizz. If I were going out, I would go ahead and grab this part here and lightly tease it and add some hairspray and really get that crown bouffant. Just takes a little bit of finger magic. So there you have it. This is my signature look, how I curl my hair. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Please share the video and don't forget to subscribe. And if you ended up using any of these tips and it was helpful for you, please let me know in the comments below. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye!